Did we play it on there, the initial one?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, I'll just be silent.
In the works with Brandon and Usa.
Welcome back to In the Works, where, we're never truly complete.
Thank you for the second introduction, Brandon.
Yeah.
You completely overshadowed Raviv's
I know
introduction.
Raviv is there. Just let me speak and say thank you, Raviv, for the intro.
So, real quick, before we get into our topic,
Yeah.
I'm not signed into our YouTube on my Mac, right?
Okay.
So I needed to know what episode we're gonna record. Episode 47, by the way.
Okay.
And so the way I tried to do it was just to look up our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere to be found.
Oh no.
If anything, it's worse.
Oh no.
Especially with YouTube Shorts. Significantly worse. You can't find us anywhere.
Okay.
Even if you put In the Works pump cover.
Oh no.
We're nowhere to be found.
Oh, shit.
So, bad news, but I just want to let you know.
Well, all right. Well, we know we have to step up our game, and it's rolling into Christmas break. Maybe I'll have a little more time to do something,
I don't know if I will.
figure something out. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, today's topic is community. And this is something I find extremely important and so much more beneficial than it sounds. And it kind of sounds like, oh, community, join a community. It just sounds kind of plain. But it's one of the best things you can do and one of the best things to talk about, especially nowadays when people are very much alone.
Very alone.
So I know you had some notes on what a community is and different types, so just take that away.
Yeah, so I just went ahead and found a definition online from Oxford Languages.
Mm-hmm.
Oxford.
Is it English?
Yes.
Okay,
English.
just making
It's in English, don't worry. But they defined it. They had two definitions. I just took the first one just because the second one pretty much it was the same as the first one. They just reworded it ever so slightly. Literally the first 4 or 5 words were exactly the same.
And you're like, okay, why'd you put a second one down?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if someone didn't really understand the first one, but I thought it was pretty, clear cut.
Yeah.
But it was a group of people living in the same space or having a particular characteristic in common.
Okay. What was the second one?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
Something along those lines. Let me search that real quick.
I mean, maybe. I just wonder what the difference is. Does it say minus people living in the same space, or I just don't know what would change. It's talking about the TV show. Just type in definition.
Boom.
There we go.
All right. That's not. Wait. This is it. No. What?
No, it isn't.
This
but
is different.
I like that one though.
This is different. I feel like I've
It says a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, goals. I like that one though.
Yeah, I like that one too. That one did not pop up when I searched.
Yeah,
it.
there was one I saw that was people with shared connections that bind you together. Stuff like that. Anyway, that's what community
I definitely
is.
like this other one better.
And communities are everywhere. Everywhere. If you get into a hobby, you'll find, you'll accidentally become part of a community. Your family.
It just happens so seamlessly.
If you're, a part of your family and, your family is huge or something, that's a kind of community. It's just, you find yourself in communities all the time and you maybe don't even really know it.
But yeah, on that Google search that we just did, there are also similar, I guess they put it under similar words, but some of those are, brotherhood, sisterhood, fraternity, sorority, those common ones.
I guess those are communities.
Association, league, cult.
Association?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, continue. I just didn't hear that right.
No, league,
Okay.
cult,
Cult.
I'm kidding.
Gotta get with the
No,
community.
it
bro.
wasn't on there. It wasn't on there.
Join the community, man.
It wasn't on there,
the
but
community.
it is. But I thought it was kind of funny because
Yeah.
it just popped in my head. I was like, a cult is kind of it's a community,
Yeah.
not
Say, like,
one that I'd be wanting to join. But
Churches, work, those are communities.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that just kind of led to me thinking about the different types of communities.
Mhm.
Like we just kind of listed, you can have communities can just be categorized in multiple ways, really.
Mhm.
So business communities, ethnic communities, gated communities, this and that. They're just,
Gated communities.
well, just like neighborhoods, yeah.
Okay. I like how you gated community. If there's no gate, it's not a community.
But like even the neighborhood you're living in, that's
So more like
a community.
like location wise.
Yeah. So, like I said, they're just different ways you can categorize communities. But the ones I wanted to focus specifically is a lot more broad in that sense. And it was actually a article on LinkedIn. It was from 2016, so it is a little old. But
I'm not on LinkedIn.
me neither.
I should be though.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm going to be doing engineering.
Yeah.
Like,
I still need to update my
what would I
resume.
even put on there?
But yeah, it was a LinkedIn article by Stan Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
But in his article, there is another person he mentioned, which was Richard Millington, and he categorized it in like 5 different ways or subjects, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Categories?
Communities? No.
But you have interests. So basic, communities of people who share the same interest or passion. So like art, video games, dancing, etc. There's also action, which are communities of people trying to bring about change.
Okay.
So, just people who, protesters.
We want more food in the cafeteria.
Yeah. Charities, people who just want to protect nature. And I thought, I'm definitely thinking like social service because it's a job, but at the same time, it seems like a community.
Like social, I don't think you have to like say it in like a job way, just serving your community.
Yeah.
Like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. There is place, communities of people brought together by geographic boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So also like I kind of listed earlier, neighborhoods, workplace, park, just really any public place that is shared by people. Just so really a lot of places.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Anywhere there's people, there could be a community. So
Practice, communities of people in the same profession or undertake the same activities. The only one I could think of was bird watching.
bird watching. Well, I mean, you could also like think of any actual profession, like the community of engineers. Like that's a community, the engineering community. So sorry, I said it so weird, but or the what is it? Just any profession. The I can't think of professions.
Yeah, right. No,
I don't know
the
what
same thing.
like the
I had the exact same problem.
yeah, mechanics community, just stuff, any sort of community. If you have any sort of interest or profession that you do, the archery community, just all that. And people say that like arbitrarily, they just throw it out there like, oh, this is in the whatever community, this is kind of how things go, or this is how they do this. And then you pull things from that.
So like when someone is just watching, just like when you subscribe to a YouTube channel and you're part of that community, how would you describe that community? Is it just like, oh, we all have this shared
interest? Yeah.
Shared
interest or profession. Like, especially the internet is a great place for, connecting communities because, you know, say you're all bird watchers, right? And then you talk about it and share tips and stuff over the internet or in person. That is a community right there. You're part of the bird watching community. And if there's
that's true.
and something you'll hear is like this certain thing, or, you know, what binoculars do you use, or what spaces, and people will go, oh, in the bird watching community, typically they use this type of whatever because it's better for this, right? And it's not everybody who bird watches may use it, but typically that's like something they have a shared interest and a shared goal, and these help them with their goal. And so they kind of tell everybody they know who's into bird watching. And so that's part of a community.
That's true.
So, and they help each other out, point things out, say, hey, look at this. So,
well, that being said, you know, YouTube, remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can't find us anywhere anymore with the search bar, so we'll
try to figure that out.
We'll figure out something.
We'll get somewhere sometime.
Yeah, we'll get somewhere.
All right.
But yeah, for practice, it was very hard to find anything other than bird watching, just because
just literally anything, dude.
like you said, but in my head when you said like engineer and stuff, I'm thinking
it's not always like established as like this is the community homepage of all engineers, you know.
Well, yeah, I understand, but it's more of like how it's categorized in like these 5 different ones, because it could also just be interest. Like everyone doing engineering is just interested.
But also, I think that is specifically more, you know, in the professional realm type of thing. So there is an engineering community as a whole, but then there would be maybe the professional engineering community, where engineering community as a whole fits anything that could ever possibly be engineering. Professional might be more specified things. They may use jargon or
so
fall in the context of stuff in that industry.
So
would
you
a little more
say
specific.
Would you say like the community is kind of like a funnel, where it just like kind of funnels down into
specific areas? Yeah. You
okay.
could be in the engineering community, then maybe you're in the civil engineering community, mechanical engineering community.
It reminds me
professional civil engineer, you know what? And you could filter
it reminds
however
me
you want.
of you know those coin sweaters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it reminds
Like
me of
those.
that, where you just dump all your coins in it.
And here's
sorts it out.
thing. You could be in a lot of communities and in a lot of different positions, social positions in that community.
Yeah.
So you're not just in one.
You want to join my World of Warcraft field?
Yeah, you could dabble. You could dabble in stuff. So
yeah, so I had, trouble with practice. Only bird watching.
it's fine. You don't have to confine yourself.
Circumstances, communities of people brought together by external events / situations.
Yeah, storms.
Yeah.
Hurricanes. That's something I know.
Definitely.
Everyone affected by such and such storm or whatever, or a power outage.
And then that goes into the action community. It kind of goes they all go hand in hand.
I think action, it doesn't have to necessarily be where there's like some sort of social issue or catastrophic event. Sometimes you want to get things done. Like you want to make something. Maybe you want to open a restaurant. And so, you kind of become a part of a community of, say, entrepreneurs or
open
whatever.
a restaurant over a natural disaster?
No. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to always be like these,
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
things.
sure.
And you could, if you want to create something, you have to work with other people typically. And so that becomes your community. And so, action, like to get something done. Or I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about it in a weird way, but I think it's just all the same, just a little, they just name it something different.
I get you.
Yeah.
But other than those that you listed, there's also just your basic health concerns, mentally, physically.
The mental health community.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a legitimate one that people say.
I mean, I definitely think there's definitely some categories for that.
Yeah, that go into that. Yeah.
But yeah, the mental health community.
I don't know if people reference that, like say that.
I feel like
I've
it's
heard it
like
before.
an unspoken thing.
Like, yeah, in the mental health community.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? I don't know. Okay.
I want to say the people who would say mental health community are the people who praise, being overly positive,
Oh,
just like at an excessive amount.
I can kind of, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to
It's
put
more
that in
just like
other
a
words.
feeling.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah. So those were the 5: interest, action, place, practice, and circumstance.
Nice. So I kind of wanted to get into maybe the purpose of a community, because we have all these types, but why the hell would you seek out a community? What are they for? What are the benefits of being in a community? We throw around this community like it's just a thing, like that, oh no, I have to enter a community, but it's something very easy and casual that you do on the daily basis and you don't even know it.
It's easy and casual, but if you think about it, it's actually kind of scary.
Yeah, because I mean, it has to do with like, the way humans are socially, and oh man, you feel like you got to contribute to the community and such. And
Yeah.
there's kind of this relationship to it. But so I wrote down a couple of things that what it would be for, right? Or purpose of, or benefits of. And the 4 things I kind of wrote down would be feedback, support system, accountability, and the achievement of a goal or purpose. And so feedback it's really just to see what you don't see, to fill in blind spots. Like what am I missing here? Depending on your community. And it exposes your strengths and weaknesses. It's how you compare. It's where do I fall compared to these other people doing the same thing, talking about the same thing. And you could really see like, I am strong here, but man, I am weak here. I just don't get this done. So it allows you to reflect on yourself, just where you're at with what you're doing. And it helps in that manner.
So it's like kind of like a sharing and learning process.
Yeah.
By just talking to other people.
And I could see that in more spaces, like if you're trying to learn something, right? Or if you're trying to go through life, your friends, that community, you're going to point out, hey dude, you've been slipping on this. Like, I don't want to see you fall. Is everything okay? How can I help you here? Or you just, this person doesn't seem to get into trouble ever. I always seem to get into trouble. What am I doing different? And there might not be any conversation there. You just may go, how do I be like that? And then you realize, oh, this is where I'm falling short. Or this is why this person never gets into trouble and I always get into trouble. And so it kind of just exposes things, not in a bad way either. It could be very positive, although communities can be negative too, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, and it lets you know what is socially okay and what isn't. So communities also set rules, social rules, which can be good and bad depending on what community you're in. Maybe it'll work in one community and not work in another.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you're in. And then support system. Man, these people inspire you. They drive you and they'll push you further than you ever thought you would go without them even going, good job, man. You'll just see how people are doing. It's like, what is it? Friendly competition, No one's trying to beat each other down. You're going to help each other, but you also want to do a little better, right?
Yeah. You
want to be up to snuff. You want to be with the guys.
Yeah. You want to like progress as other people progress.
So you're going to try to at least be up with everyone else. And then if someone inches forward, you're going to want to inch forward, and maybe you're going to want to go past them, and then they're going to do the same thing. And so you'll have friendly competition and you'll help each other out. You'll like, if you want to say at school, beating someone, like getting a higher grade than them, you don't win anything.
I can't imagine ever wanting to do that.
Like, I got a 97, he got a 96. Like, what now? But you may be competitive and try to beat that person on a test or whatever, but you're not gonna withhold information from them to make them go worse on the test. You're going to be studying and you're just going to try to get things right better than they are. And you're going to be like, oh, I'm kind of confused on this, and they're going to help you. And then you're like, but this here, and you work together, even though you're still competing with each other in a sense. So, but they definitely inspire you. They push you further, and you feel like you're a part of something. We're social beings, and being a part of a community, you have a sense of belonging. Like, these are my people. This is my family. This is just where I'm comfortable. And with people, it's relationships above all else. Mm-hmm. People may not, they may celebrate a goal or achievement you made, like a physical achievement. I made this thing. But, later on, they may not give a shit about that thing, but they'll care about that face-to-face connection, that enjoyment they had with you. Yeah. So, yeah, relationships above all else. And so it's a support system. And then there was accountability, keeping you in check. If you're slipping, doing something wrong, and that doesn't fit within, your either spoken or unspoken community guidelines, right? You go, hey man, like, what's going on? Oh, sorry, I've been slipping. And then you feel, oh geez, they notice. So now I'm gonna, maybe try to do whatever. Or if you haven't been progressing, like, hey, you've been working on this thing? No. Here, let's work on it. Or I got some ideas for this. You want to try it? Mm-hmm. And it allows you to gauge, where you're at. And, oh man, I have to do this. I don't want to let them down. So it helps with that sort of thing.
I did not know laundry was going.
Oh, no, it's fine. They may not be able to hear it.
That's what you think.
It's not a bad deal. Maybe, I'm not sure. But also the achievement of a goal or purpose. And when I say this, not all communities are forever. Mm. Some of them are just when you're doing it. Like at Maple Woods right now, community of students and friends and such. And, when we're all out of classes, may stay in touch, but a lot of the people who are bound together just by classes, they'll separate, right? Yeah. If they go separate ways, they may still be friends, but they may not be in the same community as they were before, because they were only bound together by a class and they were just trying to get through that class, right?
That makes sense.
So stuff like that. But it could also be like forever stuff, like your friends who are trying to help you through life. You're going to go until one of you die, like those could last forever. Yeah. That community, your family. As if you have hopefully a decent relationship with your family, that community will be around until everyone's gone. And so it's definitely an important thing. And so a benefit, it creates a sense of purpose and passion in life. When you're a part of something, it's really hard to feel like everything's meaningless, or you're less likely to feel that way. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to get into despair when you're alone and be like, what's the point of anything? But when people are around you and you're working on something or going toward a common goal, everything has purpose. Suddenly your free time, you want to fill it with helping these individuals or achieving this goal or getting better in this certain way.
Yeah, because it might have been situations that you've been put before, and you know how it feels, so you just kind of want to help someone else out. Yeah. And so it gives you a sense of purpose, and you might go, oh, I really like doing this one thing. I've been in this community for a while, and I'm actually going to go this route with my life and career. Mm-hmm. And so now you found your sense of purpose, you found your passion, and there are people all around you with same goal or who are struggling, and you want to help them out and things like that. And when people are involved, purpose and passion start to align a little more. And you realize, this other thing I was thinking I wanted to do, I don't care about that. I care about these other things, and I just want to do those. So that really helps community. And that makes it even worse when you're like ostracized by a community or something like that, or you've fallen out of one. It makes you feel even more alone, though, because suddenly you don't have that anymore. You're like, where's my purpose? What do I do now? Yeah, it's like having a bunch of support and then just not. And then
it was part of your identity, that community, and now that's not a part of you anymore, and you're just like, oh. So that can be rough. That may be one of the negatives of a community. If you fall out of one, it could be it could be real depressing. Although, great thing, there are many. So
That is true.
yeah.
But yeah,
And you could even be in a different community with a lot of the same people. So it's
that's also true. I never thought about that.
so hey, you maybe have lost a couple friends, and that may be sad, and you really would want to keep them. But hey, you may still have a lot of the same ones, just in a different context.
Definitely. So I know, going back to our podcast with Raviv, you guys talked about, the group of friends that you made during your class.
Yes.
Is that community still up, or is it just kind of
we have
like...
a group chat, and they're still in classes together. I'm kind of the odd one out right now.
Gotcha.
And I still sometimes communicate, and hopefully we'll get together over this break. That sort of stuff just becomes difficult when you don't see people on the daily. If anyone's been an adult and they know anything about life, is sometimes you make friendships and you just don't see your friends like ever.
Yeah.
Or some of the friends you have, and it's not because you hate them. It's not because you don't like them or anything. It's just, it happens to be that you're busy and you guys are in complete opposite places. Geologically, you're separated.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. Like when school's over, everybody I know from that class, I think from each other, they're at least 30 minutes to an hour away from each person, like the closest person. And some people, like, I'd have to drive an hour and a half to just from my location to theirs.
Yeah.
So, or something like that.
Wild.
Yeah. And just because UMKC was very central, some people, they'll drive 45 minutes from the east, and I'll drive 30 minutes from the west or north,
From,
south,
all
whatever it
different
is.
locations.
Yeah, I think for me, it's actually from the north to the south. But yeah, and so from my point to theirs is, double the at our commutes together. That's how far away we are. So that makes it difficult to stay in touch in that matter, especially because I'm not the biggest technology person. Like I don't necessarily like texting and such. Sometimes I'll text a whole bunch one day, but most of the time I don't really.
I know what you mean. I don't. There's only one person I really text, and I don't use social media at all. So I completely understand.
So yeah. That being said, though, last night I was, I had nothing to. Well, not that I had nothing to do. I just was typing in a group chat for like 2 or 3 hours. So, but I almost never do that. And
yeah. Yesterday you texted me a lot more.
I know. I sent you a couple sentences.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Or no, I responded to your response. That's
Yeah.
what And I just never. I don't know why. And it's not that I won't ever respond. It's just the likelihood gets less and less as it goes on.
Definitely.
And just because I kind of like focusing on what's going on here, not on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me. But another benefit of a community is immersion. So this helps a lot more with like skills you're trying to acquire or professions and such. Is that you're going to be around people with similar purpose or people doing the same thing. You're engaged with the material or content of that goal and purpose all the time. So you're just going to pick things up that if someone outside the community, like if they're going after the same goal, but they're kind of outside the community, they may be a little further behind. They won't pick up the tips and tricks of the pros because they're just not in the community. They're going to grind and grind and grind, but they just won't be at the same level you are from the get-go, or at least in the same amount of time, because you're just constantly interacting with the material, the content, the people, and picking up tips and tricks. So I know, like playing games and such, if you get a bunch of people who are complete noobs at a game and gaming, and you put them into a game, they're going to approach that game so different than if you had a bunch of pro gamers into a new game. Those pro gamers are going to figure that shit out a lot quicker and get better. And so if you put a noob in with the pros, they're going to learn so quick. They're going to realize, you know, how to play the game, and they're going to pick up the tips and tricks, and then they'll go play with their new friends, and they're just going to destroy it. So, and it's just when you're outside of the community, you just don't get that same interaction, that same lessons learned. You know, these guys learn, like in professions, these guys spent, you know, their whole lives doing this, and they've kind of learned how to do their job. And then if you're in that community, they just go, oh yeah, 45 years of knowledge, here's how you do it. And it's like day one. I've heard this about like the jiu-jitsu community and such, because it's like grown so fast that, you know, all the kids of the new day right now, they know all like years and years and years and years of stuff people had to learn and figure out. They're taught it on like day one when they walk in. So it's,
no, that's definitely the crazy part.
yeah. So being a part of that kind of like community where you're around people who know what they're doing, that is one of the main benefits of a community. Even if everyone's like a noob, figuring it out and sharing tips and tricks and such, that is like number one. To really excelling at what you're doing is being a part of that community, figuring out, picking up, just absorbing, and then trying to contribute. So, and for that, the word synergy comes into mind. I forget the dictionary definition, but it's pretty much, think of it like
You wanna look it up?
Sure. But I think of it as like two or more people accomplish something greater than what each of the individuals could have accomplished on their own. So,
All right, there it is. Even bigger.
the interaction or cooperation of two or more organizations, substances, or other agents to produce a combined effect greater than the sum of their separate effects. Yeah. Together you're stronger.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you want to get anything done, if you want to become something like real, even if it's a small community, you're going to have to be a part of a community, and you're going to have to learn, and you're going to have to encourage each other. And, you know, the older I get, keep in mind, I'm still fucking young, but
your birthday's coming up.
I know I'm going to be 23. Nobody likes you when you're 23, but yeah, the as I age, as the years go by, wow, that sounds older than I am. You just find out more gets done with people, better, faster, more efficient. There's some things you lose when you're in a group, but ultimately, you win. You win more when you're with people. And kind of with that, how do we find and join a community?
Well, like we discussed, communities are just kind of everywhere. You just kind of pick and choose.
Talk to people, shared interest, common goal. That's it.
But yeah, the only I want to say the hardest thing about finding a community is probably the anxiety that you get.
Yeah.
Especially if you've never actively tried to join a community before.
Yeah.
Because you get the fear of not being accepted when communities are all about like acceptance.
If you're trying to form something, say you're at small school or whatever, and you want to form a study group for your class, how many you're always worried like, oh, is anybody going to show up? You know, are we going to actually do work? Like,
it's just anxiety. Do you see?
you're like, I got to talk to people and ask like when you're free. Like, I got to collaborate. It just
setting up.
Yeah, setting up is anxious. But yeah, you find shared goals, common interests. And the biggest thing is some sort of communication or repetition of interaction would be necessary. So like every week we do a study group or something.
Yep.
The repetition is every week we meet, right? Or if you're over the internet, we text sometimes about this stuff. You're a part of the community that way.
Yep.
Or we share things. So it's doing something kind of, you could be subtly active or like really active. But being a part of the community would just be getting and giving some sort of information, feedback, whatever. And, you know, that if you don't do anything, you're not really. If you're there, maybe you're still part of the community, depending on the community. But yeah, you do have to fill in some sort of blank. You got to show up or actually interact with this group of people with your shared and common interests. The internet is a great place.
Definitely.
There are discussions, Discords, Reddits, YouTube,
Facebook
channels,
groups.
Facebook groups. Even if it's just like YouTube channels and everybody watches all these people from these groups and such, like you don't have to have the homepage of,
Yeah, like their communities even have names. It's
yeah, and it doesn't have to be like an official thing. It could just be a collection of people who kind of like on YouTube watch each other or do similar things, and then you just kind of interact, or like, oh, I saw that guy's video, and this is what I did based off of that.
Yeah.
So
same thing with music, I'd say. People just fangirl over.
and you could be a part of the music community. There's so many different music communities. Like if you're just a listener, right?
Yeah.
If you're a fan, everyone's a fan of what's the artist you listen to sometimes?
I don't know.
Okay, no name dropping. All right. Just whatever artist, and say another person is a fan. Now you're part of a community based around this one person, the appreciation of this music, or maybe a genre, or just music in general. Just you like listening to it, And so you're more likely to send someone songs, be like, yo, listen to this. They're like, oh man, I really like that. And you just send everybody each other songs, and new music comes out, and that's a community. So really easy to join, be a part of.
And it's just not interest. I mean, if you are going through, a hard time, there are people who are also going through the same thing, and you can just have that support. And it's just overall really nice to just feel that acceptance and support at the same time. So,
and you don't have to be crazy active in these. I know people are busy all the time. A lot of communities are just very like touch and go based. Like it's not like 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, you have to be a part of this community. I mean, it's like once on a Saturday you watch the video, and maybe on like a Tuesday you
watch our
make
podcast.
something. Yeah.
Every Saturday. And it uploads at 8 in the morning. Or not every Saturday, every other Saturday.
Every other Saturday except holidays, right?
Except holidays, yeah.
Yeah, we've stopped doing holidays.
Yeah. We're not going to do holidays.
All right. Yeah.
Just because we already have a lot going on. Holidays.
Yeah. Or at least we're not going to record around holidays.
Yeah.
Who knows? Sometimes the weeks work out weird, but.
And if someone is severely ill.
Yeah, deathly sick. But yeah, stuff that it's something you don't have to put a lot of energy into. You have to put some energy into to be a part of something. Like, I mean, like minuscule is the minimum. Like it's almost like zero energy to be a part of some kind of community. Like listening to music, you just flip that shit on. Like how much energy are you really expending there and listening to, But yeah, and it's good though to be a part of some communities that you have to be more active in, because that will push you further, especially ones part of your interest, ones that are like generally overall for life, like looking out for each other. That's a good one too. So what might be some negatives of a community?
I mean, one that we already discussed was the feeling of just losing a community
lost.
all of a sudden.
Yeah. Being
just
pushed.
Feeling more alone.
Yeah. When you connect with someone, now it opens up an opportunity for heartbreak and disconnecting with someone.
Yeah.
Which, that happens.
But what else is there?
I would say communities that are not healthy, as in
there are a lot of those
toxic environments of people, and you're part of a community and it's really freaking toxic, and that rubs off and that kills you, and that's bad. And the feedback is terrible. Everyone's puts you down. It's not encouraging. It's stressful.
Yeah.
That could be a community. You could be a part of a community and it could do that to you. And that's where you have to exit. Another one would be like, say, like crime community, the official crime community page.
Yeah, I've been to their Reddit page.
Yeah,
reddit.com//crime.
No, that's probably a real thing though.
Probably is.
But no, it's if you're a part of something that a community that's going to lead you down a dark path or a terrible path, that is a terrible aspect of a community, because they will do everything that a community does in the negative direction. So good community will shoot you up, bad community will shoot you down. And so
There are also communities that just, I don't know how to put it in words other than just overdoing it. If that makes sense.
a lot of expenditure.
Yeah, because I know. So for me,
They burn out.
For me personally, I was definitely part of the gym community for quite some time, but a lot of them are friendly, but there's also this other gym community that is just like obsessed with
Body and look.
yeah,
Maybe
just
they're
overly
steroids and they're just trying to get as big as possible. And
so there's just so many different communities within a community.
yes,
and it's
and just things you got to look out for, and that's something to kind of tell yourself whenever you, because it's good to identify if you're kind of entering into a space or a community of some sorts, and you go and look out for those kind of sub communities.
Definitely
And
think about
like,
your values.
when I am doing this, my goal that I'm picking up from this person, where is this going to go for me? So if, say, you're working out, you're part of the gym community, and someone you know they're freaking jacked, man, and they're trying, and you're like, they're encouraging you to work out, and you're like, yeah, and you're really going for that hypertrophy and gains, and they're like, oh man, keep going, keep doing this, and hey, there's a show next week, and all positive.
Yeah.
But that's not. But then maybe someone's like, oh man, if you really want to get big, probably be taking this thing, probably be injecting this thing.
There's definitely a limit.
And then
to
you're
where
like,
you should
oh,
go.
if I really want to get big, and if you don't know or don't go into that with, knowledge of safety, because some people do it fairly safely, and they're very, got the blood work, got everything, make sure everything's okay. Other people, they don't, and you don't want to be one of those people who goes into that no knowledge, and you really got to question, do I want to do that? Should I do that? Risks and benefits, stuff like that. And within every community, there's always something like that.
Yeah.
And you just got to be like, where am I going to go with this?
That actually reminded me, this person too.
Okay.
But just new, I guess, people who are into nutrition, but aren't like certified in like knowing all these things.
Okay. Yeah.
Supplements.
A bowl of pills for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh, geez.
that's one.
And I will say the like the health and fitness industry, like that realm, those communities, there is a lot of spaces that could be bad like that, and a lot of them that could be good, and it's kind of hard to navigate.
It is.
And everyone's at each other. Everyone's at each other's fucking throats. Like, you can, there's few things people like really truly agree on. Well, there's actually a lot people agree on in that space, but the things they don't agree on, it's like cutthroat.
Yeah.
And people hate you, and people will.
It's definitely like
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And yeah, so I try not to enter into that space.
but
I try to
what
keep
I'm
just like
talking
the
about.
base thing. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. That, yeah. Supplements, bro. Don't. Yeah. And that is, if you're part of a community like that, you'll be, like I was saying, you'll be exposed to a lot of the material and a lot of things in that area, in the fitness industry and such, in that community, in that space. Supplements are something you'll be exposed to all the time. And
Yep.
that's something you'll have to be like, is it a road I go down? Is it one I don't really touch? Is it somewhere in between? And that's where you have to have your sense and wits about you. And that goes with every community, because there's always something.
For sure.
Especially like some communities, you'll have to, I say sacrifice, but it's their whole life they're doing that, and it's everything, and that's not a bad thing. But if you're entering in that space, how hard are you willing to go? If you're only a casual, contributor to that community, maybe you don't need to go crazy, buy the, multi-$1,000 item, do this one thing to your body, all these things. How far in are you going to go? You don't have to be all in. Like, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can be a part of things. Just keep your wits about you. How far in are you willing to go?
Yeah. So like another example of that is pretty much keeping up to date with just technology, buying the newest thing, being in the in.
I feel like you were a little more part of that.
I was
before,
but I definitely have. See, okay, what's wild is in all the communities I've been in,
like
I've
the
always
PC building.
Yeah, I've always pushed it to where it was unhealthy for me.
You're like, I'm gonna be the best.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have the best stuff.
I was at one point on the edge of that gym community that we spoke of.
You weren't gonna take steroids, were you?
No, okay. Not that far. No. But
what?
Just that unhealthy mindset of wanting to change my body, having it look a certain way, and taking a bunch of supplements. I was definitely in that, and thank God I'm not now.
Yeah.
With buying the newest technology, I'm always very tempted to buy new technology, new things. And that was also very unhealthy, especially for my wallet. So I'm definitely a lot better with that. I think we discussed it before. I'm not sure if it was on the podcast, but it was more of, okay, I have it now. Now what?
Yeah.
Just like, it's just there now. What do I do with it?
Get stuff that's useful to you, do things that are useful to you.
But yeah, that's been very helpful. I wouldn't say it was really a community, but I know a lot of people do it. It's just overworking yourself and just keeping yourself busy.
Oh yeah. Well, that could be under other communities like that grind and hustle type.
Yeah.
Like
there you
getting
go.
money.
That's it.
And I don't know if it's like an official like community, like this is the community page. No, like it's some shared interests, shared goals, making money. I was working.
Definitely under that because, at one point when we first started this podcast, I had 3 jobs and we were also doing the podcast. So all my time was taken up by those things. And I had 2 nights off in a week.
Yeah.
So
I feel you. I remember. I think I had like one or two. I might have mentioned it in a podcast before, but same thing with me. Yeah. I had like one night.
No, yeah, and it was just it was so bad. It was so bad, and just looking back on all those things, I'm just like,
what's crazy is we got so much more efficient with a lot of things, and then of course now we cannot be how we were before like that, overworking ourselves. We're more efficient, but we also cut a lot of things that would help us too.
We definitely
so that might be something. How can we keep those things and be more efficient while we're still busy? So I feel like with things like that, if you go too far in a community, sometimes you have to like exit the community for a while
and then
you can re-enter with a new mind. And I find that with a lot of habits too, where it's like, I'm doing something wrong or using something wrong for a long time, and taking it out of your life isn't necessarily like the best thing. Like it's still probably useful to you, but you just remove it for a while and then you go back in and you're like, oh, I can use this or do this one thing in a healthy manner to where it won't impede anything. And I have just a better understanding of how not to slip away in that. So yeah, communities are great, but they're also something to watch out for. Like
communities are dangerous.
They can be.
Yeah.
Dangerous community. Yeah. Yeah. And so
don't join a community.
Here's a less dangerous example: study groups or friend groups at college. Like that's they could be one of the best things and one of the worst things for academics and social anything. Because, I mean, you might study hard, fill in all the gaps, you know, efficiency, and just really you remember stuff studying with these people. Or you walk in and no one wants to do work and they're all distracting and you don't get anything done for like 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
And so it could be that too. You know, you just have to watch out, and everybody who's in your group has to do what they can to mitigate the negatives of being a part of a community. I will say though, that support system and such is really nice. Like, I would just want to give an example, because like 2 weeks ago, so a lot of people in my classes are like the same people. As engineering, the first 2 years are generally the same classes with everybody, and it's small school, small community college, so it's like the same 5 people in every classes. And so you get to know them real well, and they hang out in the student center, right? And so one day I was just like, I guess I see them in the student center sometimes. So when we play, you know, cornhole and such, and a lot of them are part of the cornhole club too. And so I just kind of walked in there one day and just sat with everyone. And then I started meeting a bunch of people. They kind of connected a lot of tables together. So there's just like one long table and everyone kind of sits at that. And so half of the people are the people I already knew, and the other half, I have no idea who they are. And they're all mixed in places. Yeah. So I just kind of sit next to, talk to the people I know. And then I end up talking to the people I don't know, meeting them, learning their names, and so on and so forth. And now I know most of the people. And, you know, I go into the student center at a certain time, and for, if I'm... these past couple of days hasn't been most efficient as I should, but, you know, do homework at specific times. And then when I know I'm not going to work on stuff, when I need to brain break and such, you know, I go over there, hang out with people, talk, play games, you know, as in card games or table tennis, and on Thursdays, cornhole and things like that. And it's really nice to be a part of a large group who is, you know, we're doing school. That's our shared thing. We're doing school, but also, you know, we would like to enjoy ourselves and take a break. And so we just talk, play games, you know, and just, it's really fun, and it's been really enjoyable. And I almost forgot how it felt to be kind of a part of like one of those spaces. With that many people, because usually it's like 2 or 3, but when you have a lot of people, like, things are a little different, especially when you try to play games. There's just more people, more options, and those people, that they had a group chat on Snapchat, and that's what all of yesterday, just group chat, just shenanigans and fun stuff. And I usually don't do that, but I was like, you know, tonight I don't necessarily have, you know, a crazy amount to do, so I'll just be a part of it. And so I was like casually working on other things, but really being involved in the group chat. And it was really nice, because it was funny most of the time. And then there were a couple serious points that you really kind of bond over and such. And it was just words of wisdom from many people. And then it becomes funny again, and just a funny social, a weird social thing that happens. And it was very beautiful, and it was good to be a part of that. And, you know, I don't know. I just, especially now, like that was just really pleasant, especially when you're just grinding through school. Yeah. Because most of school, I wasn't a part of that, right? It was just Thursday's cornhole club, right? But, you know, being able to walk into the student center and sit down at this table and be a part of this community, you know, you just feel accepted, and it's just a good feeling.
That is nice.
And I know you're thinking about doing school now. So what will you do when you get there? Will you try to be a loner, or are you going to make study groups? Are you going to...
honestly, I might just, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't really want to be a part of
a community.
Yeah. At least, I don't know. I might talk to like one person.
I think you'll be surprised.
Get some help with schoolwork.
I think you'll be surprised, especially if a lot of people are in similar classes. You'd be surprised how nice it is.
I've only done gen ed stuff, so it's been
all different people all the time. Yeah, when you start getting into similar things, it gets better, because you see the same people over and over.
But yeah, I'll try. I'll try.
Hey,
That's all I can
That's all.
really do.
just practice what we preach, man. It's not hard, but
But
don't let it go negative.
For now, I definitely want to probably be to myself for now.
Figure things out first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just don't ostracize yourself when you don't have to. Because I will say, mentally, it makes you feel good. So, shared struggle too. So when everything's shit, you're like, yeah, dude, this is shit.
it is shit.
And so you don't necessarily get depressed. You're just sharing in the suck, you know?
But yeah. So was there anything else you wanted to add?
No. It was just really good to talk about this, especially timing wise, you know? Really enjoy it. And it's when you connect people together and you make them laugh, or you share struggle, or you help them out, and you could be serious and heart to heart. It's a beautiful thing, and it makes life a lot more colorful.
It is.
So even if it's not a crazy amount of people, it makes life a lot more colorful. Get involved in a community. It'll help you out both mentally and with whatever you're trying to do.
And don't forget to join our community.
We need to make a community.
Like and subscribe.
That's a great.
Yeah.
What is our community?
I don't know, but like and subscribe.
Let's build one.
Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell
And
button,
comment what community you're in, how you kind of got
including
there.
ours. Please.
Why do you like it so much? And maybe a funny
why do you like it
story,
so
like
much?
a terrible story or something like that. I don't know. But
I would like a story. That'd be cool.
yeah.
But I feel like stories would be more. I think it'd be
Just
better if we
share
got
with
an
each other,
email.
because I can't read all the comments. I have trouble.
You can't read all the comments.
Two.
I think we've only had one video.
Like I said, I don't like being on computers. Ugh.
Like, subscribe,
Yeah.
keep watching.
Hopefully we'll get.
Help us build a community.
Yeah. Let's. Shoot, we got to figure out some ways.
Be our. I don't know. We have 9 subscribers. Be our 10th.
Yeah. Unless that went down.
No,
We lost subscribers.
I'd like
We had 2 and now we only have 1.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I guess with that, we'll just
that's it.
we'll get going. All right. See you later.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you for watching In the Works by Brandon Nusso. Subscribe and like for more.